It has been a while since I've done a critique hour, and that's because I was very busy doing Sketchtimber, and then I needed a week break because that was a lot of work. But now I'm back, and I have a couple of announcements for you guys. So you see this work here? This is not my work, and I am critiquing them. And how to get your work submitted on my videos is to go to istebrak.com and click on the subreddit icon right here. That will take you to my subreddit. So this piece is that I like the colors. I like the general idea. I love how you attempted that light across the cheek. There's a lot of spirit in it. But there are some mistakes that are so big that kind of just stick out like a sore thumb. And you have to consider these mistakes as a something that throws off the scale between creativity and realism. Imagine just an actual scale. So you have fundamentals. This is the good drawing right here. And you have creativity. A good, balanced, amazing illustration has both of these kind of meeting where they need to be. Sometimes you want fundamentals to weigh a little bit less, weigh a little bit more than creativity. And those are the illustrations that lean a lot more towards realism. Some have way more creativity and less realism, but realism still has something in there. And those are the ones that are more stylized. The things that break the scale, and the scale is laying kind of like with a chalk drawing around it, a police chalk drawing. The things that break this scale, the scale isn't even functioning anymore, and the drawing is like gasping for breath, are fundamental mistakes that just completely throw off. It's no longer even a functional illustration. Do you see what I mean? There's a distinction between an upright scale, meaning an illustration that is actually successful, and an illustration that's just abysmal, throw it out, burn it type thing. So you just have to remember sometimes there's a middle ground between completely collapsed painting and painting that is somewhat functional or very functional. And that is that some fundamentals are broken, but the general spirit of the drawing is still there. And I think this painting is somewhere in the middle. I just want to take that moment to remind you that even though there are huge mistakes in this piece, it doesn't throw off what we're seeing in the navigator, which is very promising. It's very cute. The shadow is really reading so nicely on the navigator. It's just a lot of charm. You didn't just make it a flat skin value that went all the way through. You kind of just, you gave us this shadow, which is helping this piece along, and it's actually one of the reasons why the scale hasn't completely collapsed. Another thing is the asymmetry of the hair is kind of throwing us off, and also a little bit of volume in the forehead is kind of missing, almost like her hair is at skin level, like tight to the skin, almost like gelled down. And then the fact that the background is just not playing any role at all, which is fine in a study. You can have a gray background in a study, but you can't really do that if you're doing this much with lighting. You're saying that there's lighting in this scene. Where is it? Where is it? Why is the lighting only accessing her skin, not her hair, not her shirt, and not the background? So there's an inconsistency there. So those two things, the lighting issue, but most importantly, this gigantic anatomy issue, are kind of making the scale, this is like a turbulence, the scale is about to fall down. So let's fix all of this stuff. What you did with the eyes is great. Your general 3/4 view symmetry is good. All of those things are good. So let's try to really quickly apply all those changes. But yeah, making mistakes like this, I still have to give you the masterpiece lecture. I still have to tell you, hey, you're rushing the masterpiece a little early. I don't see any real indication that this is the fourth time you've attempted a 3/4 view. I feel like this is the second time you've ever attempted a 3/4 view, or in the low numbers. So now what I'm going to do is just make sure the hair, it doesn't have a lot of character. It's just straight hair, very simple haircut. But what we can do is just at least make it respond to gravity. And I'm just adding a little bit here. So small things that we're fixing that actually bring out the true artist that you're hiding inside. The artist the skill that you actually had in there. It's the skill. I mean, we all think, we all know that we are better than we can show, right? Put your hand up if you feel like you actually draw a lot better than your art is showing. You just don't know how to show it. I believe all of us can put our hand up with that. And that's because the human brain needs a lot of practice. There's the human brain, and then there's the human mind. I don't know how to describe it better than that. The human mind knows it draws better, but the human brain lags behind. The human self, let's say, which is where I believe the human mind lives. I'm not a psychiatrist. I haven't studied psychology or anything like that, but that's kind of what I'm sensing off myself. So we know we can draw better. We feel we can draw better, but there's just something there that it's not helping us, or we have to work that works against us, and that's the human brain. The human brain needs practice. The human brain needs familiarity. The human brain needs repetition. The human brain needs diagrams. The human brain needs examples and comparisons. The human brain needs a lot in order to fully and truly understand something. We know that we can see in our mind this image of this character with this beautiful look in her eyes, and she's kind of standing in the light, and it's just this, maybe it's a memory of this character, something like that, and we know we can draw it. And then we sit down and we've tasked our brain, which is our loyal servant. Hey, loyal servant, I'm trying to perform this task. We are met with frustration and all kinds of failure, and so that's why that masterpiece struggle, mind versus brain struggle, even happens, because you're all in a hurry to be the artist you believe you are, you know you are. The brain isn't needy. The brain, imagine it as a puppy, and it's just trying to please you. It's just trying to make you happy, but you aren't providing it with what it needs and the resources it needs. So your brain isn't working against you. Your brain is a beautiful servant there to help you achieve whatever you want. Understand how you learn. If you have learning disabilities, if you have ADHD, your brain isn't working against you. Your brain needs you to understand it so that you could give it the information it needs for it to learn, and then not just learn, but retain information. So remember, your brain isn't your enemy. I know I described it just now as if it's like you're against you, but this is the world we live in. We cannot just learn something and just be good at it because the self, the mind, decided, hey, I'm an artist. No, there's practice, and there's time for that to develop, and everything develops with time in this realm anyway. So now in a new layer, save, I'm going to pick the light color and then just slowly add this bounce light. So this is something that not skipping your studies would have shown you, which is every time you draw a sphere, which is what the head is based off, that's the core fundamental shape to study when you want to study a face or a head. You study the sphere, you'd remember that, behind every core shadow there's some kind of bounce light creating a terminator. And so that bounce light creates this extra dimension to the face. And I'm just gonna merge everything down right now. All right, so one thing I'm gonna do actually is add that little element of wind. And then the background. So the background, I mean, there's so much you could do with it. One thing I'd love to do is just kind of darken it and put a halo around her of some kind. I feel like that really brings out the light. And then of course you can change the color. You can make it more of like a dreamy sky blue. So before, after. Remember the scale that I described, a balance between fundamentals and realism. How to like push your drawings into this finished place that just looks nice. That's the realism side of the scale. How to keep your drawings from just being photos of people. That's the creativity side of the scale. A good painting is a balance of the two. So this is an example of how realism can push your drawings even when you don't mean to be realistic. Like I could have rendered this face to be realistic, but why take away the charm of the artist's eyes? The way the artist had this character hiding in there. This is the character I saw in there, this charming young girl, and the story behind her. She has a soft face, but a very kind of almost dark expression. Maybe I'm just adding my own. She has a lot of focus. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what I'm seeing, that kind of focus, and that's what I want to bring out. But at the end of the day, you'll bring out whatever you'd like. But there is a level of realism you cannot resist. Write that back to me. Okay? So remember, I call y'all noobs with all the love in my heart. Okay? Okay, my little noobs. And that's it for today. Before, after, thank you guys for watching. If you learned something today, if you appreciate these classes, please consider joining as a $1 patron. My goal is 1,000 $1 patrons. Right now, I think I have like 200. Please spread the word as well about my channel. I've been doing this for so many years and I barely have the views to show it. I don't know what's going on with YouTube, but I'm praying the format changes at some point to favor channels like mine, educational channels. If you guys want your work critiqued and you don't know how to get it critiqued, all you gotta do is go to istebrak.com and click on the subreddit icon right here. This is where I found this piece. This is the student who posted it. Right here at the top, there's an announcement for a community challenge. Community challenge winners win everything on my store, from Portrait Studio to my masterclass, all free. So these challenges are made to give you guys opportunities to have these resources. And if you click here, you'll see that there's a little link to follow. That's my Dropbox link for the brief for the challenge. It's a small little written story. It's a character design illustration with or without background, color mandatory, and you submit it by November 30th. That's the new deadline. So the reason I delayed it was because there was so much going on around August and September. No one was going to have any time to actually give it their all for this challenge, and I want you guys to do that. I want you guys to try to give it your all. It's going to be our holiday design challenge, due November 30th. So go here, submit your art, 14-day challengers, illustrators, all of you. You guys are welcome. Even free art is now welcome here as long as it's safe for work. Yeah, please feel free to join us on the subreddit. I can't wait to take a look at some of these in the next couple of weeks. And the community challenge is also extended to November 30th. Thank you all for watching today. I'll see you guys next class. Bye.